welcome to Honeybee Tales. I'm super excited to share this book with you because if you know me, you know I'm a little bit obsessed with recycling. Okay, a lot bit obsessed. So the reason I obsess over it as well is because there's a point when plastic cannot be recycled anymore. And so we want to make sure that we're not having a big impact when we are using plastic, because plastic products are everywhere. I mean, if you looked in your house, you could easily count 100 items within 5 minutes, most likely, that plastic is used. So I hope that you learned something important out of this one, because I am always a fan of saving the planet. So we'll get into this, and then if you have any questions or want to know how you can save the planet, let me know, because I am, like I said, obsessed. So we'll go ahead and get started. So these question and answer books are really great for children to learn new topics, and the lift the flaps are great for memorization because they are able to lift the flap, learn the information, and then because they're touching it while they're reading and they're using 2 senses, that's going to help them memorize it better. So it uses who, what, when, where, which, why, and how. So what is plastic? It is material made by humans that's now used in everything we do. There are many different types of plastic, each with long chemical names, such as polyethylene terephthalate, or PT for short. What's plastic made of? Mostly oil. See, that's crazy, I didn't know that. And oil is made from ancient tiny plants, algae, and animals, zooplankton, that have been squashed underground for millions of years. That's a close-up of zooplankton squished under the seabed. Pretty interesting. What makes plastic so fantastic? It can be made into all kinds of shapes, from squeezy tubes and rigid bowls to crinkly bags and tough pipes, and it lasts for hundreds of years. What did we do before plastic? People had fewer things, mended them when they broke, and made much less rubbish. And isn't that the truth? Have you ever purchased something and you realize that it lasts so much longer the older it was, but now when you buy something, it doesn't even last that long? It's just crazy to think of how that's how they get consumers to purchase more and more and more, because they break a lot easier. Toys were mostly made of wood or metal. Food was either fresh and wrapped in paper or kept in a tin glass bottle. What's wrong with plastic? Plastic itself is an amazing invention. It's the way we're using it if that's the problem. We take a material that's designed to last for hundreds of years and make things that are used just once, then throw them away. But plastic never really goes away, and plastic waste is here to stay. And it's so unfortunate. I don't know if you guys remember those commercials that we used to have that talked about plastics make it possible. Do you guys remember that? And it was kind of like promoting plastics and how great they are. How is plastic made? Oil is taken from deep underground. It's separated into different types of oil and gas. A thin oil called naphtha is heated to make the main ingredients for plastic. Factories add chemicals and colors and then mold the plastics into all kinds of shapes. So as you can see, this goes over a lot of great information. So how is plastic recycled? Really important, only some type of plastics are recycled. It's sorted, shredded, cleaned, and melted. Then it's usually turned into little plastic pellets called nurdles before being melted and shaped into something new. Now, it's important to note that plastic cannot be recycled over and over again, so there is a point when you can't recycle it anymore. How can we clean up plastic? By organizing litter pickups and beach cleans, recycling as much as possible, and changing our habits so we use less plastic in the first place. More and more businesses are now collecting plastic waste to make other products, such as new roads. So that's exciting. How does plastic get into the ocean? Plastic litter blows into rivers and drains, then flows into the sea. Tiny pieces of rubbery plastic fly off our car wheels all the time. There are also tiny plastic fibers in clothes and tiny plastic beads in toothpaste and soaps. They all wash down the drain. Now, if you weren't familiar with this, did you know that glitter also is a type of plastic and is actually not good for the environment, which is really disappointing to hear. So if you're able to buy biodegradable glitter, that's the key. How many plastic bottles are bought each minute? An astonishing 1 million. In the USA alone, over 50 billion plastic bottles of water are bought each year. Just think how much less plastic if people used and refilled their own bottles. How long does a plastic bag last? On average, a plastic bag is only used for 12 minutes, but the plastic it's made from lasts much, much longer. It's likely to be around still when your great-great-grandchildren are born. Okay, so why? Why is there so much plastic in the world? Because it's so cheap and easy to make, and often it's very useful. People have been making and buying more and more plastic things without realizing how it could hurt our planet. How about, why aren't all plastic things recycled? Often because they're not put in the recycling bin in the first place, but also because it's harder to recycle some plastics than others. For example, chips bags are harder to recycle than plastic bags. Check what can be recycled in your local area, because there are things that if you look up in your local area what can be recycled, you'll be surprised to learn that some things you might put in the recycling bin is actually trash. Oh, can we just burn trash? Burning plastic in the open creates horrible gases that make you ill. Plastic can be burned in incinerators if the gases are carefully controlled, but it's very tricky and you're still left with piles of ash. So why does plastic take so long to go away? Because the tiny living things that usually make stuff rot away don't know how to break up strong, unnatural materials. It says, "No thanks, yes please," for the apple. Even if it breaks into tiny pieces, those pieces are still here to stay. So we'll read one of these. Why don't we make packaging out of glass? We do. Glass works well for jars and bottles and can be recycled many times, but it's heavier than plastic and it shatters when it's dropped. So I actually started, when I went to the store, I would see about what, if something was in a glass bottle instead of a plastic bottle, just because it's so much easier to recycle the glass, and it's going to eventually turn into sand as it biodegrades. Now, you've probably seen these numbers on the bottom of your plastics. So some of these will tell you that they can be recycled or not. So for example, if you look at the number 4 plastic, this is the symbol for LDPE. It's the plastic used for bread bags, trash bags, cartons, and takeaway cups. Or how about number 7? 7 is the symbol for all other plastics, including those used to make CDs. What are those? Baby feeding bottles, and car headlights. So then you would have to check with your local area to see which of those is on there. Can plastic be recycled again and again? Yes, some bottles can be recycled around 10 times, but only if they are carefully separated from other plastics. Most mixed plastics can only be recycled once, and that's into black plastic. We can make benches and decking out of it, but they will last for hundreds of years, so we don't want to make too many of them. Are thin plastic bags better than big, thick ones? No, because they're more likely to be used only once. Single-use plastic is the worst kind, as it instantly creates more plastic waste. But thicker bags are only better if you use them again and again. So that's why it's really important to use reusable bags whenever possible. So let's go over a couple more. What items should I flush down the toilet? Come on now. It's quicker to list what can be flushed. Only pee, poop, and toilet paper. Anything else should be put in the trash. Cotton swabs, wet wipes, adhesive bandages, and many other items contain plastic which won't break down and could end up in the sea. All right, so who is Mr. Trash Wheel? Look at that guy. A floating garbage collector in Baltimore Harbor, USA. Mr. Trash Wheel traps plastic waste as it floats down the river and stops it from going into the sea. That is so awesome. I love when people do things that are innovative to save the planet. Who makes the most plastic litter? Probably the world's big drinks and snack companies. They might not leave it lying around, but they're the ones who made the plastic bottles and wrappers in the first place. So we want to know who can stop the plastic problem. We all can. We must stop buying single-use plastic, and big companies must stop making it. Why is there so much plastic packaging? Have you ever felt that way when you order something off Amazon and there's just plastic covering it? Buying local products can help. They travel less distance, so you don't need much packaging to protect them. Let's see, when did plastic become so popular? From around 80 years ago, lots of supplies for the Second World War were made in plastic. By 50 years ago, plastic was replacing all kinds of materials, such as steel in cars, glass in packaging, and wood in furniture, such as a plastic parachute, plastic helmet liner. So incredible. So, this is the most important. How can we make a difference? Say no. Everybody say no to single-use plastic. Don't buy water bottles if you can help it. Get reusable water bottles and then buy a filtration system. Please don't use straws. They're so bad for the environment. I don't think they can even be recycled. Don't use party plastic bags. Try to find paper bags, which is a better option than plastic. And guess what? Balloons. See if you can find one that's biodegradable, because balloons are so bad for the environment. Use paper or metal straws or no straws at all. Make your own party bags and decorations from recycled paper. Metal drink cans can be recycled 1,000 times more than plastic bottles. Carry around your own bottle and cup. Many places now offer free water refills and discounts on takeout drinks if you bring your own cup. Use bars of soap, which I started using a shampoo bar, and it works just as well as a regular shampoo. They work just as well as shower gel, but with no plastic packaging. You can also get shampoo and conditioner bars. And another thing to note is that when you buy shampoo and conditioner out of a plastic bottle, water is sometimes the first ingredient, which is not needed because you're mixing it with water when you take a shower. So that's why the bars are a lot better. Avoid plastic packaging wherever possible. If a product you like only comes in plastic, why not write to the manufacturer and ask them to make a difference? Cook more. If you do buy something plastic, try to use it lots and lots if it repairs or breaks. When it can't be used anymore, please, please, please take it to be recycled. Some other ideas are make a reusable bag from an old t-shirt. It's got a little kitty on it. How cute is that? Turn a plastic bottle into a bird feeder. Pick up litter whenever you visit the beach. Tell other people to make a difference too. So buy loose apples, not the ones in plastic. So if you buy fruit at the grocery store, bring your own little baggies to hold them in instead of using a plastic bag. And stop plastic pollution. So as you can see, this is such a great book for teaching your little ones, and for me too, and for you guys too, about why plastic is so bad for the environment, but good at the same time as long as you are recycling it and using it responsibly. So thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love this book, and hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next week for Honeybee Tales.